I used to think Christmas was just a commercial holiday, a manufactured season of forced cheer, tacky decorations, and endless repetitive music. For me, it was just another day on the calendar, something to get through, not to celebrate. Every year, I'd see the lights go up, the trees go in windows, and I'd just roll my eyes. It all felt so hollow, a performance everyone was expected to join, whether they felt it or not. I was the guy who'd work on Christmas Day, not out of necessity, but to avoid the whole spectacle. My friends would invite me to their family gatherings, and I'd politely decline. Not my thing, I'd say, and they eventually stopped asking. I wasn't sad or lonely, or so I told myself. I was just realistic, practical. Christmas was for kids and for people who needed a reason to feel hopeful. I thought I didn't need one. This year started out the same. I ignored the carols in the supermarket, scrolled past the festive posts online, and planned a quiet day at home with a stack of books and a frozen pizza. On Christmas Eve, though, a blizzard hit my city, the kind that shuts everything down. The power flickered and died, plunging my apartment into cold, silent darkness. My phone had no signal. I was completely cut off. At first, it was just an annoyance. But as the hours stretched on, a real sense of isolation started to creep in. The silence wasn't peaceful anymore. It was deafening. The cold wasn't just a nuisance. It was seeping into my bones. For the first time in a long time, I felt genuinely alone and a little scared. Just as I was resigning myself to a miserable night, I heard a faint, rhythmic knocking on my door. I was hesitant, but the knocking was persistent, gentle but firm. I opened it a crack and saw my elderly neighbor, Mrs. Gable, from down the hall. She was holding a single flickering candle in a jar, its warm light pushing back the oppressive dark. She had a thermos in her other hand and a plate of cookies precariously balanced on top. She just smiled and said, "Figured you might be cold, and nobody should be alone in the dark on Christmas Eve." She didn't wait for an invitation. She just nudged the door open a little wider and stepped inside. She told me her power was out too, and she'd made a big batch of hot chocolate on her gas stove before the storm got too bad. We sat there in my dark, cold living room, lit only by her one small candle. We talked for hours. She told me stories about her late husband, about Christmases from her childhood, about the funny things her grandchildren did. She didn't ask me why I was alone. She didn't preach about the magic of Christmas. She just shared her light, her warmth, and her company. We shared the cookies and drank the hot chocolate. And for the first time, my apartment didn't feel empty. It felt like a haven. Other neighbors, hearing our voices, cautiously knocked and joined us, each bringing something small. A blanket, a bag of chips, more candles. My tiny apartment became a makeshift shelter, filled with laughter and stories from strangers who were quickly becoming friends. We weren't celebrating a holiday, we were just people, taking care of each other. As the first light of Christmas morning broke through the clouds and the power flickered back on, I looked around at the sleeping figures in my living room. I saw Mrs. Gable's half-empty thermos, the plate with only crumbs left, the scattered collection of candles. And in that moment, something inside me just clicked. Christmas wasn't about the shopping, or the songs, or the trees. It was about this. It was about kindness in the face of hardship. It was about sharing a small flame in a world of darkness. It was about connection, about checking on your neighbor, about realizing that we're all in this together. It wasn't a miracle from the sky. It was a miracle of human decency. And looking at the quiet dawn, I said it out loud, to no one and to everyone. I didn't believe in Christmas until now. Thanks for listening. If you liked this story, please consider subscribing for more. See you next time.